I'm Adam, and this is a video about our 2019 Nissan Armada SL. In today's video, I'll be pointing out some of the bold exterior features of this Armada and then taking you guys inside for a closer look at what makes this SUV Nissan's take on luxury. We'll start with a walk around here of the outside. As you guys can see, this is wrapped in gunmetallic gray. And then as we move around here to the front, we'll see the big bold grille and the bold styling up ahead. This beast of an SUV is powered by a whopping 5.6 liter V8 engine, producing 390 horsepower and 394 pound-feet of torque. This Armada does feature LED daytime running lights as well as full LED low beam headlights. As you guys will also notice, it does feature HID high beams for increased viewing. As we continue to move around the Armada, you guys will notice that we do have these excellent 20-inch wheels that add to the overall exterior styling, as well as these optional running boards for increased accessibility. This Armada does feature a 7-speed transmission, and as well, this beast is 4-wheel drive. Moving around here to the back, you guys will see that the back takes on kind of a little rounder design. We do have full LED taillights, which is also always nice and kind of a premium feature. As well, we do have the power lift gate, so we can operate that either on the button on the back there, or we can use the remote, as you'll see here. So we do have the power open and close, which is to be expected on SUVs nowadays, especially ones over 50 grand. Speaking of, to get a little closer idea, this Nissan Armada SL all-wheel drive starts at an MSRP of a whopping $54,900. So this is no entry-level SUV. This is a very well-equipped, very large, quite luxurious SUV from Nissan. You'll also be pleased to know that this Armada does come equipped with a tow package rated to tow up to 8,500 pounds, so you'll never have to worry about getting the boat or the camper to the lake. Before we move inside, take a look at the gorgeous seats in this Armada. These are fully trimmed leather seats. These are wide, they're flat, they have perfectly nice side bolsters on the back and bottom cushions. These seats are incredibly comfortable. That's all fine and dandy, but really the true luxury lies on the interior. So let's come inside and I'll let you guys start with a quick look around of the dashboard. Now that you've gotten an idea of the layout of this dash, we're gonna go ahead and move over to the steering wheel. Moving here to the left side of the steering wheel, you will see that we have all of our radio controls, so we can change our source, we can pan through presets, we can go back and such like that. We also have our hands-free buttons. And then over here on the right side is all of our cruise control. So this Armada does feature adaptive cruise control, so it will automatically maintain distance from the vehicle in front of you. Of course, moving up from there to go to the gauges, you guys will see that this is a very classic needle gauge design. We have analog gauges. I think that Nissan went for this because they were really trying to capture that luxury segment, and it can be hard to capture the feeling of luxury if you go to an all-digital display. I will say though, I'm a bit disappointed by Nissan in the middle here. This small screen between the gauges is not color, it's just kind of the pixelated black and white. In a vehicle that's over $50,000, I think this is absolutely necessary to provide full color screens anytime you're doing a display. Speaking of that display, it is controlled by these buttons on the edge of the display cover. So we have this hood to keep glare down, and it has these kind of cool built-in buttons. On the right side here, we can click through the display, and then moving over to the left side, we can adjust our display brightness for our gauges and such. Moving down to the left, I do want to show you guys a little grouping of buttons here. So we have our power tailgate button. We also have our all-around sensor button, so that can actually turn on and turn off the full surround sensors that come standard on this Armada. And then we also have a button to turn on or off some of our parking sensors and our emergency braking. As well, down below that, you will see this small little dial. You can actually adjust the height of your fog lights. That way, if you want them to shine a little further down road or a little closer in front of the Armada, you don't have to worry about that. All you need to do is roll this little dial and it will power adjust your fog light height for you, which I find to be a very premium and very cool option. Of course, moving over here to the center console now, this is where the technology really comes to life. So it starts with a large screen up here in the front. It is a matte finish and it is a touch screen, although we do have a big cluster of buttons down below. So we have our camera, we have our audio, we have our navigation settings, our map and voice button. We have this large dial here in the middle that can control movement throughout the screen. It rotates as well as clicks. We have our apps. We have our info screen, which can show us a bunch of different things. We have the status button that can show us kind of a split screen of different information. And then we have the climate button as well. Moving down from that, you will notice this Armada has a ton of buttons, especially here in the center console. I think this can be a little overwhelming as well. I know with the luxury segment, Nissan hasn't really gone for the whole touch panel or buttons, anything like that. I think that this is something that they need to work on. So down here in the center console, we have our volume and our tuner knob. Of course, we also have our passenger and driver temperature knob, so that's always nice. But nonetheless, I feel like they could really clean the center console up. It just has a ton of buttons. Moving down a bit from there, down here low in the center console, you'll see that we do have our heated seat switches on either side. As well, we also have a power port and a couple USBs here. One thing that I do not love is blank switches. I've mentioned this in a couple other videos, and we can see clearly here that we have blank switches right next to our heated seats. I'm assuming that would be for the cooled seats because we do have perforated leather in this Armada. Nonetheless, if you're buying a car that is over $50,000, the last thing that you want to really look at is blank switches. They didn't try to blend them in or anything. It's just straight up a filler button, and I don't love that. Okay, moving down here near the gear selector, of course, we do have our standard straight line gear selector. You'll see just below our gear selector, we do have our drivetrain selector. So this is the knob that can change your Armada from 2-wheel drive to 4 high to 4 low. It stays in this auto setting, which will automatically switch you back and forth between 2 and 4-wheel drive. As well, on the left side, we do have a button for snow mode. On the right side of that knob, you'll find your tow haul button if you're pulling a trailer. And then down below that, we have our traction control button off. Again, tons of wood trim. We have these doors that will cover up your gigantic cup holders, which good looking out on that Nissan, as well as we have a large cubby up in front of those. And then a little further back here near the center console on the left side, we have another small cubby with a door to cover it. I want to show you guys the back seats now. So taking a quick look, you will see that we have a very large center console between our captain chairs. The captain chair setup is an upgrade. Normally we do get a bench seat across there. And then of course we do have our climate controls here in the back of the center console. So you can see that we've got the auto setting, which is always nice. We do have this nice one-touch folding mechanism as well. If you grab onto the lever at the top of the seat, it will automatically fold itself and flip up to reveal the third row with easy access for a pathway to get back there. While we're checking out the third row, I do want to point out a pretty cool feature, and that is the fact that this third row power reclines. So on the left or right side of the back seat, we see that we have buttons for the passengers back there. That way they can power adjust the recline of the seat to get a little bit more comfortable. As well, you can find those same switches located in the cargo area. So if you open the tailgate up and you need to load something large, you have 2 switches there to fold the third row completely flat if need be. As I'm sure you'll notice, the back seats in this Armada are gigantic. It provides a ton of room for both second and third row passengers, so you never have to worry about cramming someone into the far back or not having enough legroom for someone tall in the second row. That is it for today's walk around. I hope you guys enjoyed taking this quick look of the outside and inside of this beautiful 2019 Nissan Armada SL. If you do have any questions or you'd like to see this Armada in person or take this beast for a drive, you can stop by and visit us here at 1820 Vandalia Street in Collinsville. That's Jack Schmitt Ford. Or stop by and visit us anytime online at jackschmittford.com.